independence word connotes that it needs to be a separate function to me, independent of everything else. But that cannot be. Marketing, in fact, requires integration. When I teach at SPJN, in fact, when I teach at B schools, we call it the integrated marketing course. So that's the word, that comes to my mind. But to be specific about it, marketing needs to be very well integrated with the business strategy as a function, needs to be very well integrated with customer experience, customer service as a function. The product management function sometimes reports into marketing, but let's say, if you're in a new age organization, it could be a separate function, and that also needs to be very, very well integrated with marketing. Pricing in FMCG used to be again a part of marketing, but in the service industry, it is not. So there again, I think pricing inputs need to be taken, from marketing, according to me. Why is this? Because marketing is supposed to be the consumer stroke customer representative inside an organization, according to me. If anyone, any person, any function has to know the customer intimately, it has to be, marketing. And therefore, in the modern set of companies, marketing needs to be very well versed with the data which exists both inside the organization and outside the organization for knowing the customer better and for building even analytics models and things like those. Now, the moment I'm describing all these different functions, what is coming through is that marketing needs to be integrated with every other function. So I think that's the word to keep in mind, and not necessarily independence. I will explain this further. There is a certain degree of independence required, but that is only when you're developing, let's say, communication or creatives. And I think that's where the fewer people work on it, the better. In fact, in advertising, there is a saying that a camel is actually a horse produced by a committee. So, I think while every other thing that marketing does needs to be integrated extremely well, but when it comes to creative development, I think the few people or the fewer functions, that opine on it, the better. You do require independent thinkers, not just in marketing function, but in every other function. It is a culture and the DNA of the organization, that needs to be developed that way. However, when you are working for an organization whose, objective is to be true to its stakeholders and shareholders, the independent thinking has to lead to innovation, which has to lead to a value proposition. And once again, value proposition for the customer. So it can't be innovation and independence for the sake of it. It has to be for, doing a value addition to a customer's need, or maybe making life simpler sometimes, in fact, of your channel. So, customer and consumer both. Or you could make life better for employees too. Or you could, the other way where you do, independent thinking and innovation is, even for cost saving projects. One of the examples, that I will give you out of my life is that I have always maintained that there should be a lot of new experiments and pilots that my team ought to be doing. And I always say, do the experiment one quarter, and if it succeeds, scale it up the next quarter. The way I maintain a culture of experimentation and independent thinking is that we never penalize a person for a failed experiment, as long as it is a failed experiment. Because you measure, if you don't encourage actual experimentation, how will you discover new things, and how will you discover new things to scale up? So that's what I do inside my team, inside the CMO organization, actually wherever I have worked. I think the SWOT analysis for it is, if you look at the strengths, is the skill set of the people that you employ inside the marketing organization. They come from varied skill sets. They can do both right brain and left brain thinking, and that's required, in this day and age. The weaknesses is that sometimes, due to the tradition inside an organization, the marketing team may be used to not doing data. the marketing team, may be only involved in the creative aspects. And I think that can be a weakness and that needs to be strengthened. In terms of the opportunities, I think the whole performance marketing organization and being able to deliver to business and taking on business KPIs is the opportunity that marketing teams have everywhere. In the service industry, especially in financial services and in the technology industry, marketing teams are already very well integrated into the business teams and have business goals, whether it is cross-sell goals, upsell goals, retention goals, or even new business, contribution goals, thanks to performance marketing. The threats really is that, marketing does not become data-led. And if it does not become data-led, it will become a minor, contributor to the organization and may actually then, be looked upon only as a team which develops communication and which gets the briefs from the rest of the organization. So it will not be an integrated function is really, the threat that marketing faces today.